Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me for the second iteration of my raw training session. And yeah, things are going smooth. Food-wise, I've been good. So life is quite challenging right now because obviously there's been some events that have been going on around my family and all. So I've had to, unfortunately, what I believe is early on especially, or even like on a cut, there's no real room for wiggle room. I'm all for flexibility and, getting your, obviously having life alongside it, but I've only got about 8 kilos to lose. And for me, I'd rather prefer it just to go in, do the job, get out. So kind of like a quick in and out mission. So it's nothing major, food wise, we all base our life around food. And for me to think that way where, oh, today's this, today I feel like this, today that's happening, today's this happening. Before you know it, you'll probably end up just, eating whatever, whenever, and there's no real plan. And I'm here kind of trying to do something. Now, obviously, if your family or your friends aren't orientated in that way where they eat properly or have like a system that they eat with, or they understand the importance of diet or lifting and all, you're going to struggle. I have that where everyone around me kind of doesn't really lift or anything like that. My friends, some of them do, but in my normal day-to-day life, that's not the case. So you have to think on your feet. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess I take my food with me. There's not a lot of these events, which makes it quite easy. But like I say, you have to kind of be a bit selfish and just get in, get out. Lose the fat. There's enough time later on for flexibility, which will come. Now, obviously, this advice or this information for someone that's a lot heavier doesn't apply, because then you've got a longer runway, so you can introduce diet breaks and all, or maybe be a bit cordial with it. But even then, I say lose a big chunk of it. Be a bit savage. Just get it done. Get in, get out. It's not fun being in a deficit, obviously. Some people may enjoy it, but it's not where you're going to make the most progress. Granted, obviously, physically, you may look the best after the fact, but that's besides the point. But yeah, full body session. Program hopping has been something that I've unfortunately been in. That was one thing I was really proud of when I was new, was the fact that when I was new to lifting, that was 5 years ago now. Granted, I was really fat. I was like about 115 to 120 kilos. Now, the thing was though, however, I was happy about the fact that there's no, I wasn't program hopping. I was sticking to things and doing them as best as possible. But now I look back, I may have sandbagged some of my sessions. So, for example, obviously for like deadlift, if I'm deadlifting 100, maybe I could earn 140, 130, 120. But I would take weeks to ramp up to that level, I guess. And when it would get to that point, my brain would play tricks on me and say, well, you stalled, essentially. But that's where the growth happens, when you're kind of in a stalled system where you only put on a rep, or you only go up weight once a week, or once a month even, eventually down the line. That's progress. That's real rate of progression. That's not a stall. So for me, it would be like a cause for concern. I would switch something in the plan, something stupid. I'll add something in there, I'll remove something, change a variable, change my whole ethos. But over the last year or so, last 2 years, I've been a bit more comfortable now anyway, making these videos as well. Just because I've got a more inline principle, like I'm kind of sure of what I am with my lifting side of things, I guess. I'm intermediate lifter still, probably not early intermediate anymore, but I am well into my intermediate phase. So, and I've had my battles with food and fat loss and all that, which is just part of life. Some people are basically skinny and they're trying to gain weight and they have that struggle. I've had it the other way around. And one thing is getting the fat off, but having a system so bulletproof that you can keep the weight off is another thing. But anyway, I'm so solidified in my ethos now, high effort, and then letting the volume sort of letting your effort and your output and your recovery dictate the volume. I'm more in line with that kind of side of things, not low volume or high volume. If there's certain body parts that can take higher volume, you give them that. If you're recovering fine and your volume is low, for example, on any given exercise or body part, but you're still within line of the rates of progression, there's no real need to make any drastic changes. It makes no sense. If there's something that's working, can it work better? Is that a thing? But then that would involve you tinkering something. So is that what you want to do? And again, your body would reward, or your physique, your muscles would reward consistency on a program or on an exercise. So you can't keep switching things out. But yeah, like I say, I'm kind of solidified in that now, of obviously experimenting things and doing things like that, kind of give you that mirror eventually, that you look at your physique and you realize I was chasing something, super optimal or whatever way you want to put it, and what you got in return was stagnation. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the way I am now. There's loads of information out there, by the way, but there'll be something there. You take parts of everything. You know, you take parts of Levroni, for example. You take parts of Jordan Peters, Faz, from Faz Lifts, Sean, whoever, Greg Doucette. Take parts, or take the information that you feel like resonates with you and your field time in the gym. Obviously, when you're new, you don't have that experience. You just do stuff, but that's what I've done. I've taken parts that made sense to me, but I've made sure one variable that doesn't change is effort, because effort is something that will give fruition to all the information, knowledge, or whatever you're after, or whatever your system is. So that's one variable that cannot change, because if your effort is high and then something's not working in your program or in your system overall, then there's a cause for you can change things or look into something that way. But if your effort's not there and then you're constantly changing things, then nothing works. You can have the best plan in the world and nothing works. I'm sure you've heard this time and time again. You can have a really bad plan and still progress, which is true. It is true. Now, like currently now, because I've gone through some over the last 3-4 months. I've been really ill before. I've had some other issues and whatever. I should have never fallen off over the last. No, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something I could change. Unfortunately, something I could probably speak about at some point down the line. But yeah, it's just a case of, when you come back, you don't really need a lot of work, especially if you've been at a certain strength level before and you're coming back and you're not there anymore. Do you need to ramp up or dig out the notebook and textbook and come back out and look at the plan again and start where you were? Not even weight-wise, exercise-wise as well. I'm currently doing a plan. I've done it for the last month now as well. Full body, A, B, 5 to 6 exercises per session. And most of my exercises have 2 sets, barring the RDL and the machine squat. Now, machine squat's going to be changed for belt squat. Our gym's actually getting it next month. Oh no, actually 2 to 3 weeks. So that'll be fun. That's what I've always aligned with. Unfortunately, this gym is so much easier for me to get to, and just a better gym overall from what I had the feeling of when I was training inside it, that I had to sacrifice the belt squat and make use of the other leg machines and all, because you just have to do what you have. But they're bringing a belt squat in, which adds another layer of what's the word? It just, adds another equipment in there that I can actually use properly. That's one of my favorite leg exercises that they were in my previous gym as well. But you win some, you lose some, so I took that hit anyway. But that's what we're going to be working on today. Full body session. I think there's only about 5 exercises today. I know there's 5 exercises, or 6 exercises to be fair. We'll do ab crunches as well. I've introduced them now. But yeah, it's make sure you do plan before you train. Always plan before you train. In the day, some point, during the day if you can, night before. Don't open your log. Struggling to park here. Don't open your log when you're in the gym and then start deciding stuff then. I've never understood that. When people do that, because how do you get into the right frame of mind? How do you get into the right zone to be able to lift if you just only found out you got like 150 kilo deadlift or whatever? It never makes sense to me. I'm feeling really good, guys, honestly, for this transformation. I know I've made some videos through the last year or so saying I've come back, but truth be told, for various reasons my heart wasn't in it. But after a long time, so I have cut down before. I made a video before this speaking about cardio and stuff like that, but in that I kind of mentioned, and before as well, that I was 118 kilos at my heaviest, and then obviously during that I did it like a one shot kind of in 8 to 9 months, basically. 8 to 9, not 8 to 9, that'll be long. Months, I basically dropped down to 67 kilos. So I've got the minerals, you know, I've got the Y and all that was there. But yeah, I mean, sorry, yeah, the Y just wasn't, I suppose, strong enough. But I've got some really cool plans for us guys, you know, for everyone watching, and obviously myself, byproduct of that. So that'd be really, really cool. If more of you can join, I appreciate all the ones that I do watch right now as well, but if more of you could join, that'd be awesome. And I suppose the whole MO of this channel for me now is just to, you know, get people to follow my journey, because I feel like there's not just me in this situation where obviously overloaded with information. I know that I'm another voice out there, obviously, that you would probably hear, but my main aim would always just to be get people on track, get people back on track, just constantly back on track. Because the minute you keep switching things and you find someone better or something better in your eyes, and then the minute you fall off, the key is to build your own system. Because, right, like, I don't know if I said this in the last video, but I was thinking a while back, I had a thought, like, hang on a minute, no two single bodybuilders, professional, you know, or influencers, or anyone that you may speak to in the gym, no two people did the same program. No two people built their muscle in the same way. Obviously, you've got some similarities. Obviously, you've got your bulk cut cycles or whatever, and obviously there's a bigger crowd now that says once you've cut, you know, just bulk very slowly over time, which is also valid. But yeah, so I'm saying, as in, like, how many reps you leave in the tank, or what exercise you prefer, what's better, you know, laying leg curls or seated. There's no two people will do the exact same plan, and if they do, give them both, or two people that you're going to compare, give them 2-3 years, and you'll find they both would have deviated into something else. You have your preferences. Point being, the key for me would be if I could help every single person or guide every single person to basically find their system rather than find my system, you know. That's easy to do. You could put out some information saying this is right because of obviously certain research, which is on paper and in practicality is true. But I find it in application with everyone's day-to-day busy lives, like, fucking hell, you know, we've got kids, we've got work, we've got family things to do, we've got other bits to do, social life, all that stuff. What's good on paper, or what's the right studies is obviously the right answer. However, if you can't do that, or if you struggle to do that, should you not do anything at all? Or does that person really deserve just to basically be in a limbo, going in and out, or sort of changing plans and trying to find the right answer? Would that person not be more, you know, would that person not get more out of their life, their training life, and results wise get more as well if they found a system that may be suboptimal according to the studies, but is optimal for them in that given situation? So maybe their recovery sucks, you know, they can't sleep that well, maybe they don't have access to certain things that you may do, you know, like maybe ice baths or whatever. The verdict on that's still out there, by the way. I don't believe in it, but some things like that, you know. So should that person just always be in a bit of a limbo? Should that person be stuck? Should that person, you know, constantly be looking for a new program, paying more and more people to find the answer? Or would that person benefit from having that reassurance of just saying, this is what you like to do, this is kind of what the science is saying, however, if you did what you're saying really, really well versus someone else that's kind of half-hearting it, or just looking at it in a certain way and not doing it, applying themselves properly because obviously that system isn't suitable for them, my money would be on the first person who's doing things suboptimally. So it's by that I don't mean like swinging form around and all that. Those things are basic. When you do an exercise, get that right. Time and attention and all that, that's, in my opinion, bullshit as well, as long as the weight is controlled. But like, I mean, as in, you know, like volume is a big one. People cry a lot over that as well. I have been in the past. what's the right answer? Low volume, right? Like high volume, what's the right answer? Who cares? If you've done 2 sets on a given exercise, and the third one you only get 2 reps, 3 reps, and your like prescribed rep range for yourself was 5, 6, 7, 8 reps, kill that set off. Is it going to give you anything else apart from fatigue? And then you give it another couple of weeks and you realize the weight is moving up, then does it really matter what the science book is saying or what anyone else says that it's optimal? You know? So critical thinking, I think the main aim of, I don't know why I've gone on this tangent, but I just want to be able to show that, you know, with diet, there's certain things obviously that are optimal or good. There's obviously emotions coming in between, so how you can basically jump back on that as well, because I will obviously probably not be on diet won't be cutting for more than 2 months. I think I'm 78 kilos now, so another half kilo lost in the last week. I'll probably be down to I probably will cut to about 72, maybe lower. Just depends on the. You never know. I might just push it as far as I can. I mean, I've done it in the past where I've taken it deep, but my deficit has been too strong, and rather than slowly coming out of it or eating a bit more and losing it a bit slower, I've just sort of pigged out. So I've been there. I've been there as well. It's a shame, but I've been there as well, so I understand. But I would love to be able to give that sort of side of things where you guys can watch me or see basically how a real life person, a generic dude like yourself, that's not competing yet, that's not doing anything extravagant or isn't completely revolved around like lifting and bodybuilding. I do put it very highly on my in my day-to-day life. My life kind of is built around that. You can't really mess around and then have results. It doesn't work like that. But more so, I mean, like generic people that we have, you know, relationships, families, kids, work, things like that. You know, those sort of people can watch me as well. That'd be awesome. And have an idea of, you know, what really matters in these sort of circumstances, what kind of training or how you can find your system that allows you to show up day in, day out, and what you should be really looking for. Because I've done that in the past where, you know, like I say, chasing the best thing doesn't exist. But having said that, yeah, I've had a great session today. Very, very difficult. I'm now going to obviously load it up on a post-workout meal shortly. I've got 2 meals left today, so I do kind of let the hunger ride out. So sometimes I do this thing not on purpose, but it happens by design, that, you know, you are hungry, but because you're at home now, you know nothing's gonna come up. I just eat a bit later, especially if I know I'm getting hungrier in the back end of the day. So if I know I've done as best I possibly could have with my food during the day in terms of satiety, meal timings, I regard that quite highly, in my opinion. I think that's really important. If I've done all those things correctly and I find myself the last 2-3 hours in the evening like extremely hungry and I'm early in the diet, then I'd rather be a little bit hungry early on and then just eat a bit later. And then those times, for example, if you eat like maybe 8 a.m. like me, 12 a.m. p.m. and then you eat at, let's say, 3 and then 6 or 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, if you consistently eat at that sort of time, those timings, you'll find very quickly your body adjusts and your hunger signals only spike during those times. But yeah, that's it for the update. I will probably do like a weigh-in update soon. Physique updates will probably won't be too soon yet. I currently do not want my own opinion on my physique. I don't want anyone else's opinion. I don't really want to look at anything just yet. I'm not on the leaner side. I do have videos already, which obviously I'll basically compile. I'll compile those videos and put it into like a whole journey sort of thing. But yeah, so I'll be doing that. And right now it distracts me more than anything, and I don't really want to, because again, serial program hopper in the past, I don't want to look at anything and say, oh, this is not great, this is not great, when I've got a job to do. I've got a job to do, and there's a few projects in line that I would love to show you guys as well. And if you made it this far, I am putting out a free, not a comeback plan, but a free program for like gym hoppers. It would be 3 times a week, full body, but basically for people that keep hopping in programs and can't seem to stick on something. And lay it out sort of, I'm going to put it as patterns, not exercises. So you choose whatever slot's in there, and then just a time frame of when you should look to change things. If you do plateaus, all that stuff, we'll go over that. Just because I'm nearly at 100 subscribers. So just like a little present for you guys, a gift for you guys from my end. And it gives you a bit of overview of what kind of person you're watching. It makes it easy, I think, when you know this person is kind of aligns with this sort of thing, and then what kind of system or whatever you can expect from myself. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Take it easy, train well, rest up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.